He coats pretty much on everything there. Fairly tidies them up, tell you that. Look like brand new now. Definitely not something you ought to be doing inside for sure. Yeah, it's even worse than what I thought, to be honest. How rotted away the aluminium is. We're going to have to make up a set of hubs for either side. Yeah, it's bent for sure. You see that? Alright, good afternoon everybody. What is the crack? How are we? We are back to work on this wee quad sower that we were working on in the last video. I think I have come up, well, if you hear a rumbling noise in the background, it's got cold outside, so we've got the wee waste oil burner running, putting off a bit of heat, and the storm is inbound, so the weatherman says anyway. So these, we left off the last one wondering whether we could use these old tyres or these old wheels, but I come up with a different plan. So I've got these two quad wheels to go on that were very generously donated by a certain quad down in the back of the garage here. I'll have to go back on that quad at some stage, but testing purposes only and all that. So we'll get started here. We'll get this welded on, get that bolt pulled out, and probably give all this a bit of a sand, a bit of a flatten down, and then give it a good coat. I'm going for hammered silver because this is all, well, it's kind of pitted and a bit rough, so the hammered silver will certainly take that sort of rough pitted look off it and help us out that way. So let's get after it. our vice grips first before we weld it. You never know, they come out with these. Oh yeah. Not too bad. I'll take that. Didn't even need the special welder on. Go and knock it down with 220. What?
You're making some job of this. You hit her all night. And then somebody is born now, but I can't have to do it.
Alright, good. Look at how they are here.
That's the greatest machine there ever was. The heat.
Now pitch off these heat out, eh?
Marvin. Marvin.
Alright, so that's 3 coats pretty much on everything there. Also sand it down the wheels there and give them a lick of paint too. Fairly tidies them up, tell you that. Look like brand new now. And I said to do the tow hitch black, just a bit of a contrast in colour from the silver. The frame you can still kind of tell it's kind of rough, but I mean, compared to what it was, it's really not too bad at all. There were 1 heavy coat of primer and 2 coats of silver on pretty much everything. I done the towbar black and the wee bracket for opening and closing it, just for a bit of contrast for the frame. I think that'll do me a night. It's just gone, what was it, 9:15 I think it was, so long enough day for me. See you tomorrow. Alright, so it is the next morning. I think we'll start and clear down this bench here and then get set up for sandblasting. I'll need to see if I have enough sand. I don't know. Hopefully I do. I'll have a look and see what there is. Alright, so here's a wee setup, just a wee blast pot. Nothing too fancy. I don't have much sand, unfortunately. I only kind of have what's in there, but it'll be enough to do the diff anyway. It's been sitting around in the other shed, gathering moisture, so I'm going to have to pour it back out again. I'm going to sieve it again. Now, obviously, sand isn't really used much anymore for sandblasting or shot blasting. Usually using like a glass media or something like along them lines, but as long as you're careful with the sand, it's fine. I'd be doing it outside, so it's not really an issue, you know, but it can be dangerous. Silica and different things in it can go for your chest, so it's definitely not something you want to be doing inside for sure. But as I say, be outside, and it's plenty windy outside, so I'm not worried. We're wearing a mask too. But I'll get this sieved. It'll take a minute or 2 to sieve through it, but takes time. It's probably not the best way to do it, but it's cost effective. You know the usual story, everything's a budget. Okay, so yeah, it's even worse than what I thought, to be honest. But we're kind of too far in now. I'm going to clean it up a wee bit and we're just going to go with it. You can see how rotted away the aluminium is. It would be aluminium, I can't see it being magnesium, wouldn't make any sense, it'd be too expensive. So I'm going to have to cut this out and make a plate for that. And it's so rough that I think I'm going to paint it whenever I get it plate made and everything cleaned up and tied up and wire brushed again. And yeah, not great. Alright, so here's what I come up with. Just made a wee simple plate. Just goes on like that. Now, we have got an issue here, but I think we can fill that with RTV or instant gasket. I think that'll work just fine. I think I'll clean it up, bolt it together, dry just, and give it a lick of paint. Alright, so we're back to this wee Quad Sower project this afternoon. We are going to have to make up a set of hubs for either side. I have these, but I found lying about half from an old railing project. Good few of them there. So I have to put 4 holes in it, and then the shaft will have to be fitted, and I'll have to, well, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it yet. I'll need to put reinforcements up either side too, and these shafts have to come up with where there was originally a plastic bushing in both of these, but I'm going to have to come up with something different there. I'm not exactly sure I'm going with that either yet, but we'll get started in these wee hubs here and see what we come up with. Not really an easy way of measuring this. Might just have to trust the plasma cutter and hopefully that's when these were cut out it was close. Seems pretty close. A wee bit there, not much though. I think I'll have to just measure on the plate. Right, so we're back to enough now, should get it ready for here. I think I should be pretty close enough. I have to drill my female bigger, but as long as we can get a centre in the rim, it should run true, I hope. Not bad, all things considered. Really, with a lathe or a dividing head or a mill machine, it's kind of hard to get everything centre. But I think if I open them holes up a wee bit, we'll be 100%, and then just measure it to set it, you know. All right, both of them cut out, drilled. Well, drilled. Went to almost a half inch. Was it a half inch? It might have been a half inch. Didn't measure it, but we're pretty much there. Done the other one when you weren't looking, so now I have to get the centre here and figure out what I'm going to do to get it to connect to the shaft. I haven't that figured yet, so I'll figure that out. Alright, so we're back this afternoon. We're going to dry fit this axle and hubs and these wee axle brackets that I made up to see if everything's going to play nice together. I really don't know without doing it on the lathe or a mill. It's kind of hard to get it exactly, centered perfectly. So I don't know, hopefully there's enough tolerance that everything will go back together and it'll work reasonably well. But we'll try it and see. Alright, so those holes are 1.5 thread pitch. And 12, I believe. You get them retapped.
Yeah, it's bent for sure. You see that? The other side bent, this is the other side's important one. Oh yeah. No problem at all. Alright, so we know there's enough tolerance there. You can actually see there as I turn it how much I have it loose. I have the bracket loose, so you can see how much is actually moving the bracket because the end of the shaft's twisted.
moved. Don't know whether it's enough or not. Alright, so everything loosely put together there, and nothing is bending up. Got that shaft straightened pretty good. It's not too bad. It'll be fine. Yeah. Bust it apart again, get these last bits painted up, and get the upper painted up. It's ready to put back together. Pretty clean anyway. Alright, that's it painted. It's not 100% dry yet. This is the next day, but I got a fair bit more orange peel than what I wanted. Kind of my own fault. I didn't thin down the paint enough. That's why I was kind of messing about with the gun so much, trying to set the needle, but yeah, it's good enough for a piece of machinery anyway, for sure. Wouldn't do for a finishing a car or anything like that, but good enough for what we need it for. Got them other wee bits tidied up, the hubs and the, the wee brackets. Just painted them black, so pretty much ready to stick it back together. Everything should be ready to go. Frames here ready to go, diffs there ready to go in, wheels, everything should be ready to knock together. So right, so I'll just show you this before I go stick the rest of it together. I had to clean out the wee keyway there. I changed it from this side. This one's really wore down, like it's not really much use, doesn't really hold anything in it. So I cleaned out that side with a wee carbide bit. And when I was buying the keys, I just bought a box because it was as cheap buying a box as it was just buying one, to be honest. Something I didn't know actually. These are actually called a feather key. So there you go. Learned something new today. But yeah, that fits in there, dead on. And then the shaft. So just like that. And that's what drives it. So all good there. I'll stick it on the time lapse because you've already seen a full video pulling this thing apart, so put it together the fast way. Alright, so that is it. Back together. Didn't turn out too bad. Does it look brand new? Absolutely not. Was 100 times better than what it was? 100%. I decided to paint this wee shield here. Just think it looks a bit better. Colours, I suppose, they're alright. I'm not completely sold on them, but again, doesn't matter. This is a tool. Not caring too much about what it looks like, but it still looks pretty good, I think. And not seized up anymore. You can see the disc moving in there. So, ready to be put to work. I'll not be in this video we put it to work. Maybe in the next one or one after that, I'm not sure yet, but we got a lot of artificial to sow and grass seed to get down, so it'll be put to good use for sure. Yeah, turn out too bad. So, see you in the next one.